ask, how is it being the only woman in all male writing rooms? Which, from previous interviews of you, I've seen that has been the case for you more than once.
That's so funny because I said it's really, half of it is just getting that question a lot. That's just one thing that's different. The men don't get that question. It's been honestly a while since I guess, yeah. I mean, I just worked on a show, but it was very small staff, so it was only women. But uh, it. I think about it now more than I did then, if that makes sense. Like when I was 21, 22, 23, maybe up to like my late 20s, which is honestly, I think I was 20. I'd worked like 6, 7 years without like another woman, which was in hindsight is insane,
Yeah.
but also at the time, it was I almost think like a better person would have had more difficulty, or a different person would have had more awareness of it. I think I benefited from being like a little bit protected by my naivete around that stuff. Like I was just like, oh, like jokes, 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 jokes. Like I, I don't know. I think there would be a term for whatever I am or was, as far as like gender and all that stuff. But I just kind of barely thought about it. I thought about it being unfair, like a system that is just realizing, hey, you can't keep having no women,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like the whole system, it's like every 5 years, it's like, hey guys, this is not good. The way it's like, you know, there's a point where it's all white men ever doing anything, and then you have to start like breaking that down. Like it, again, it was fine for me, but thinking about it, like big picture, it's weird and it's not good.
Yeah.
And what it also did, I think, early, when people originally like realize, oh, we got to make this more diverse, like either it's going to come back and bite us in the ass, whatever reason inspires them to go, uh-oh, we need a lady, or we need somebody to represent this group. That's when it's like the messiest language, in my opinion. Like almost worse than when there was nobody, is like a bunch of white guys trying to figure out, like saying like we need a woman is just a weird qualifier. So it's a weird thing to say. So being part of that is very messy. Like having someone reach out to you and say, hey, they're looking for a woman on this job. Well, I'm glad that they are, but it's very weird to only be looked at because they're looking for a woman. And I've said this before, but like if you're looking for like a woman's voice, I am probably not going to like hit that button for you. If you're like, what would a lady say here? Like in those, it's like, what would a lady? I'm like, I don't know. If I knew that, I'd just be like a regular lady. Like I don't, just like I don't.
I've
So
done comedy for 20 years with mainly
yeah,
dudes. It's like,
yeah. It's like I was never like at that point, you're better off just hiring the most stereotypical woman that you're going to write anyways, like off the street.
it
Um,
just tells you how dumb we are. Like, man, we're just, we're so
this
stupid.
is all what it's a very messy thing to break down these systems that historically only gave opportunities to a certain group of people. Like there's nothing almost more embarrassing to watch than the
That we need to
beginning
do
of that
better, but we got
process.
to figure out how conversation.
Yeah, it's like it also like the we need one of is the most, because also it puts you in a position where you end up being resented by other women or other people in your community, where like you got the one spot, like the token spot is such a clunky approach to diversifying. But but I do think like I would be lying if I said it was so hard and I was treated bad. Like I got lucky, but I didn't know I got lucky for like 10 years until you hear the horror stories and you hear people say this happened to me at this job. Like I, you know, I had to change like some of the things that I said in the past about it, some of the things that I accepted as like okay behavior in an office. At the time I thought like, oh well, I'm in your world. This is like a messed up boys club and there's balls out or whatever. I don't know. Like I in hindsight now I go, oh yeah, that probably wasn't right, but I had to kind of learn from other people's stories, um, like how much I dealt with that. Even if it didn't bother me, if it bothered anybody there, it was worth saying something. But that's my long-winded, windy way of saying I was fine, but eventually learned like, oh, there were problems with it.